My first impression was I felt like the energy was a little low. Coming off a day off, I can't say that I'm, totally surprised. But man, when I went back and watched the tape, it was a lot better than I kind of felt. So, and that's normally how it works. But I anticipate us being even better today. We'll be better. Well, you know what, Justin, it's hilarious because one of the first we had the combination drills with the tackles over there, the tight ends, and doing some stuff, and that was, that was one of the first thoughts I had was, man, I don't hear anything. Nobody's, because you're just so in tune with hearing the helmets hit, and so yeah, it does take away a little bit of that sound, but that's just perception because they're still coming off. It's just taking the impact of some of that. So I guess they're doing their job if you're not hearing as much of a thud, with the helmets.
And, just the excitement level of seeing some young guys, and Malcolm Rodriguez was one of them. You did this thing where you left the first team defense out there and you gave him, one snap, and wasn't involved in that play, but he comes back the very next play with the twos and blows up the screen. Like, what is the significance of giving a young guy like that just that little taste with the first team? Is it a reward or a test? What is that?
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of a test, just to see what he can handle. I mean, I would say this: he showed up yesterday, and so we've been pretty pleased with him. And all of a sudden, we go first day of pads, and guess who shows up? Which, he's one of those guys. And which is inevitable. Sean Deion Hamilton's another one. It's like all this stuff, like we say, the pajama party. And now that we're in pads, man, all of a sudden guys come to life. And Hamilton's one of them. But Rodriguez, I'll tell you what, his key and diagnose for a young guy right now is pretty good. Pretty good. And so, as you see the competition in that room and you just watch, okay, here he is. Let's just give him a rep. And Shep's done a good job with that, and now there's already conversation. Hey, let's push him up to the next group a little bit and give him some more reps and see where that goes. So we're going to give those guys a fair chance in that room to compete and let the 2 or 3 best come out of there defensively.
Another competition that Aaron Glenn said yesterday would be Jeff Okuda and Will Harris.
Yeah.
What does that do for Jeff too? I know he's still working his way back, but just the intensity level that brings when you're competing for that spot. So much expectations coming into the league. Now you kind of like got to reprove yourself.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the essence of this league. I really do. I mean, we're at the highest level here. It's the highest level of competition, and and these are two like pretty damn good athletes, And Okuda certainly he's got a ton of stuff in his body coming back from injury. And so I think as he just continues to work through it, and look, here's the other thing. Let's not forget that, yes, Jeff's going into year 3, but it's like he's kind of year 2, right? Because he didn't really get to play last year. And so he's still growing. I mean, he's coming back from the injury. He's doing well. He's moving well, but he's still in a growing process, no different than Will, who's really never played corner other than a little bit last year, a few games. So I just think you're pulling out the best of each other. I mean, they know it's up for grabs, and I'm going to give my best, you're going to give your best, and I just think it does. There's no complacency.
But you got Hawkinson who'll play a preponderance of the snaps. You need a blocker, a receiver, like those 2 or 3 spots, or 1 or 2 spots, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's really you. I kind of look at it as you need 3 guys, and we got Hawk that we certainly like and feel good about what he can do in the pass game, and I think as a bonus he can do some things in the run game. You need a blocker, which is where I think Brock Wright and where Griff are battling out right now. And then I think you need a hybrid. You need somebody like Zylstra that you think can do – he's a jack of all trades. He can do a little bit of everything. If something happens to one of those, he can step in and produce in a game for you. And I'm just using those as examples. We'll see where Mitchell comes, He's going to get a little bit more today. Certainly he had a 7-on-7. He'll get some more of that, and then hopefully within this week we can get him some team reps. But, let all those young guys battle it out. But I think you really ideally would like to have a little bit of a mix of those guys.
Go back to the linebacker battle. Seems like Jared Davis, you kind of scaled back his role on the edge and is playing more off ball. I'm just curious, what went into that decision and what have you seen from him so far?
Rephrase the question again for me, if you don't mind.
With Jared Davis, it seems like you kind of, from the spring, you had him kind of playing both the edge and off ball. Now it seems like he's more off ball.
Yeah.
What went into that decision?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to get a good look at Stack Backer. By the way, he's another guy that showed up yesterday, which we knew he would. You put pads on, that's his deal now. That's his game. But I think we want to give him a fair shake inside at the mic and the will, like all those guys. And so I think that's kind of the starting point. As we begin to get into more of our third down packages, we'll start to mix some of that stuff where he's on the edge, and he can do that. But we just want to see what it looks like. His run, his pursuit, all good.
Sorry, one other thing about Rodriguez, Coach. What do you do or look for him to compensate for his lack of size?
Well, kind of what he showed yesterday is his explosiveness and his willingness and his power to come down and hit those guards, hit the offensive lineman, get off blocks fast. And a lot of that is, look, when you can key diagnose quick and get a good first step, and then you got to step on those guys. So you're beating them to the spot, and then once you get to that spot, 320 pounder, you got to be able to punch off of them. And so, I think the big thing is he can do it, and the size is not an issue as long as everything's perfect every play. I mean, that's the reality of it. But as long as you do that and you're consistent and you're on top of there's a number of guys in this league that have played that position and have been able to do it that were undersized. So he's explosive and he's fast and he can key and diagnose. I know that. And we're early in camp, so we'll see what happens.
You added Justin Jackson yesterday, pretty accomplished 4-year vet. Is that tied at all to testing results you got back on Greg Bell?
It is. It is. We feel like Bell's going to be down for a little bit here. And so we just wanted to make sure that we had another runner in here ready to go, kind of spread the load.
Yeah, just wondering what your reaction was when you look on film and you see tight end Hawkinson with that chip on Hutchinson and then making the play in the reception. What was it like when you see him setting a tone with the block like that?
Well, I mean, look, the first reaction is it's welcome to the NFL. That's something he hadn't seen or he's not even thinking about that. He's thinking about, his rear's up in the air and he's going to get his best rush against Sewell, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa. But he's not the first one that's happened to. That's a young guy that comes in. So he'll memory bank that, and I'm telling you, he will it may happen one more time, and I bet that's about it. So, because he picks up things pretty quick. But it's good to see. I mean, it really is. He needs that. So,
Dan, and listening to the guys talk about the culture and how much they love what you guys have built. You started last year winless in your first 11, but that culture didn't slip. How much did that culture building, even through all those losses, help you start with that foundation you wanted in this camp?
Yeah, I think it's everything. I think that was the point. Let's pick up where we left off as far as what we're made of inside, and the way this group bonded together and just didn't give up and believed in each other and believed in what we were trying to do. So I do feel like, this is all about having the right people. And, Brad and I have gone to great lengths to make sure that we have people that are about what we're about and that are built that way. And they're guys that just don't give up, and they'll just constantly go to work, constantly compete. And so now we're just trying to sharpen those guys and try to pull the most out of it, and then collectively as a team get the best 53.
I got one more. You talked about the leap players make between year one and year two, and I think the same usually goes for teams and within schemes. You didn't tweak both your offensive and defensive scheme. Can you still expect like that same sort of year two leap, or is there too much having to start anew for some of that?
Yeah, look, there'll be some kinks in there, but I think ultimately, because so much of it too is it's the staff too. It's all of us working together, and my coaches know what I expect now, which last year, as you're working through some of this stuff, and then in turn, their staff understands what the coordinators are looking for, and the players now from the staff. So So I would say it's, we're functioning better right now than we did this time last year. We just are. We are functioning. Now, what does that mean? It just means we're functioning better than we did last year at this time. And so that's kind of where we're at. But we just got to keep working, man, one day at a time. You guys know.
Thanks, Dave.